Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. This is my first stream. Woof. Finally doing this. Yo, welcome in. Uh, well, not stream. I'm sorry. First recording, I guess. This isn't a stream. This is recording. Welcome into Down South Ball Talk with LT. I'm your host, LT, and where we give you insights on NBA coverage of the Southwest Division and insights on the NFL AFC South Division. Hence the name Down South Ball Talk. So yes, again, this is my first time doing this, my first show. We had some technical difficulties earlier on going live on YouTube for our first time, so we're gonna do that tomorrow. So if you're watching this right now, this is our first ever upload, first ever show of this. So thank you so much for watching this. I cannot stress that enough for sure. But let's get into it. Today is the NFL draft. We're going to talk a little bit NBA at the end of this video, but we're going to talk mostly about the NFL draft today because it is later on tonight after this video has been uploaded. So, boom. Again, we are covering the AFC. Well, let me say this. Let me give a little background on myself before we get into talking some sports because I went right into it. I'm LT. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm not one of those guys who play college sports or play professionally or anything like that. I'm just a person who loves, and I mean loves sports, loves competition. So I thought I would make a show to get my thoughts off and my opinions and see where this goes for sure. So again, I'm not one who's saying I played this sport, played that sport, football or basketball, anything like that. I did play a little bit of basketball in high school. I did wrestle as well. But other than that, I'm not this whole guru and all this other stuff of, you don't know what you're talking about because you didn't play. Please, 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 that is not me. So I just want to say that on my first ever episode here and get that out the way. I'm just a fan, and someone who thinks I have a good knowledge of sports, of basketball, football, and also other sports. And on this show, we will dibble-dabble a little bit into wrestling. I know. But yes, we will cover all sports. But mainly, it will be focusing on the AFC South in the NFL and focusing on the Southwest Division in the NBA. Whew. Okay. So let me just get a little drink of water. Whew. All right. Let's get to it. All right. So the first, as we stated, the draft is tonight on ESPN. I believe the cover starts at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 Central. The draft starts at 6 Central, 7 p.m. I'm not sure. Do not quote me on that. I could be completely wrong. I'm just thinking off the top of my head of normally when it is. But yes, we have some picks going on in the AFC South. Let's go ahead and I would say this out the way. Born in Nashville, so rightfully so. You probably think I am a Titans fan. Yes, I am. I am a Titans fan, but on this show, we will not be objective just to Titans. We will call it fair how we see it and how I really view the team for sure. But yes, I am a Titans fan. I will say this: I was not a Titans fan. I was a Rams fan. I love Marshall Faulk. My favorite player ever is Marshall Faulk. So I was a Rams fan. And then I became a Titans fan after they moved to LA from St. Louis after a few years of Ryan Tannehill and some things off the field that I love about Ryan Tannehill that made me a Titans fan. So, yes, let's speak about my team that I do like the most in the NFL, the Titans. Let's see, 2026, 2027 season, hope to be better. This offseason did a lot so far. Last year, they went 3-14. 1-8 at home. Not a good record. But again, you were dealing with a rookie quarterback, and they also fired Brian Callahan after going 1-5 in the first 6 games. So with that being said, it was all new everything. Cam Ward, he gave you definitely flashes, especially after the bye week. If you watch some Titans highlights and or games, you could tell it started to click a little bit for Cameron Ward. And I really do see the high hopes for the futures for Cameron Ward, especially after I talk about the new coaching staff that the Titans have. GM Nate Borgonzi went out and hired a slew of new coaches for sure. Let's start with the head coach, Robert Saleh. Coming from 49ers, he was the defensive coordinator over there. He was the ex head coach of the New York Jets as well. I like the hire. I really love that, it's his second chance, and it's one of those, let me learn from my mistakes from what I did the first time. And he definitely hired a veteran staff coming in with hiring Brian Daboll, which is an ex head coach as well in the NFL from the New York Giants. He was hired on February 2nd, so that was dope for the team as well. That was a really good hire. Also, a new DC as Gus Bradley. He was hired on February 2nd. Oh, I'm sorry. Dayball was hired on January 27th. I'm so sorry. I got my dates mixed up. Gus Bradley was hired on February 2nd. So, yeah, Robert Saleh, he's going to be calling the defense. He did not do this to the Jets. He admitted he wish he would have done this, and he was calling the defense over at the 49ers, had full autonomy of the defense. And, with their injuries and stuff, he still made it happen. So I'm really intrigued to see him call the defense here at the Tennessee Titans and see how that works for sure, because I think he's one hell of a defensive coach. One hell of a defensive coach. So with that being said, I'm really looking forward for that. Brian Daboll as well. I'm really, him as a head coach, I think he was okay. I think he can get his running backs right, his quarterback right, and from last year he really wanted Cam Ward. He wanted to come up and trade with the Titans to get Cam Ward with the #1 pick, but the Titans, said no, and they kept the pick, and Cameron was the pick for the Tennessee Titans. So with that being said, I'm with that as well for sure. So Dayball coming over from the Giants and being the new OC, basically doing what Robert Saleh was doing with the 49ers as well, is basically having full autonomy with the offense here in Tennessee. So I'm really excited to see where that goes as well. This new GM, Mike Borgonzi, he has 1 year under his belt. I like what he has done. He's brought in some really good players, some really good coaches, and I like how Miss Amy has definitely sought him out and hired him and let him do his thing. And I really see high hopes for the Titans this year. So let's get into the roster a little bit. The free agent signings. Let's see, where do I have my free agent signings for the Titans? Oh, Lord, I have them. I had them all up here. I'm so sorry. I should have been prepared for this. Where's my folder with the Titans? Bear with me, you guys. I'm so sorry. Um, Here we go. Here we go. Down south ball talk. Okay. All right. Should have had this going. That's the Jags. Here we go. All right. Colts. Titans. I'm so sorry. Y'all bear with me. I'm so sorry. I should have had this up already. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. I got it. Titans. Here we go. All right, so boom. This year, man, they signed some pretty good people. Let's start with the departures before we get to the signings. They let go Lord Cushenberry, which was the starting center. Let go of Xavier Woods, L'Jarius Sneed. The free agent signings. Here we go. That left for free agency. Arden Key left, Corey Levin, Chika Conquo, and also Sebastian Joseph Day. I mean, once you hear that, you're like, oh man, that's a lot of people that's gone, and you're like, man, what's going on here? But they did do some free agent signings, and they went crazy. Signing cornerbacks, they signed D tackle. Franklin Mines. Yeah. So let me get. Where's my? I could have swore I had everything here. I'm so sorry, you guys. Oh Lord, I need to come better prepared for this. But yes, so the free agents, I do like what they did with the cornerbacks. They brought in some cornerbacks. They re-signed their punter and the kicker. So we can go into the draft right now about the Titans. Oh Lord, now I feel like I'm underprepared. Hold on. The agent signings, the Lord Jesus. Oh man. So boom. Oh, Wandell Robinson. Here we go. I found my stuff. I'm so sorry. I found my list. I knew I had it in a folder on my stuff. So I know again, this is my first time, my first recording, so y'all have to bear with me. So boom. Rondell Robinson, of course, that's I believe that's a good slot receiver for the Titans to get for sure. John Franklin Myers, they got Alante Taylor, Cordell Flott, Mitchell Trubisky is the backup quarterback now, which I like that over Brandon Allen. No slight to Brandon Allen, but Mitchell Trubisky coming in, I like that a lot better. They also signed Hendon Hooker, which was a surprise, but we won't talk about that right now. I know Tennessee fans love that, but I like that signing with the best, honestly, Joy Sly. Getting him back, I believe in Sly. Morgan Cox as well as your long snapper. He definitely re-signed as well. So they have a slew of signings that I love. But my favorite one was John Franklin Myers at edge because I mean, you bring him, you bring Jeffrey Simmons. Obviously, I mean they got some good people over there. What I think they're lacking on defense, if you ask me, is just maybe a linebacker, maybe another edge to go along with them. But again, we'll talk about the draft here in a second with the Titans. But yes, those were the key free agent signings for the Titans. Let's talk about the draft here. Uh, Hold on. Yeah, do I have that? Yeah. So I have my draft notes here. Lord. Oh my Lord. Oh, yeah. My draft notes here. So they're picking at four this year. After the season they had, they're picking at four. The needs to me is obviously edge corner, a new center, and a wide receiver. I believe they'll address the wide receiver and the center position on day 2 and 3 for sure. But on day one, we shall see how it goes. Now, every mock draft leading up to this, everybody had Jeremiah Love, everybody has this, everybody has that. But who I think they're going to pick if he's there, I think it's going to be, and this is not going to be the sexy pick, and people's going to be like, wow. But I think this is how the draft is going to fall. I really do think Alvaro Reese will become a Tennessee Titan. I'm just being honest here. As much as I love Love, and I really thought to myself that Love will be there for the Titans for so long. But then after all the reports of the Cardinals taking Love, I really do believe the reports of the last maybe 3 or 4 days. And I do believe that Jeremiah Love will be off the board at 3. And then Alvaro Reese will be there for the Tennessee Titans to select, which I would not be mad at that at all. I just think Alvaro Reese just needs more time and more development at the edge position because he's kind of that hybrid for you. So, with that being said, I do think at number 4 tonight, the Tennessee Titans select Alvaro Reese from Ohio State. That's just me. If you don't, leave me a comment. Let me know if I was right or wrong. Let me know what you think about that comment. Um, but I do think Alvaro Reese will be a Tennessee Titan come tonight. But boom, that's my wrap up about the Titans so far. Let's move on to our next AFC team or AFC South team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh Lord, what a season last year. 13-4, 7-2 at home, 6-2 and away. Obviously won the AFC South Division. Lost to the Bills in the wild card round 27. What was that? 27-24, I believe. But it was a good year for them. They had a lot of good things happen. I mean, Trevor Lawrence's first year with Liam Cohen. I mean, it was a success if you ask me. Let's see. Let's look at the numbers. Over 4,000 yards passing, barely, but got there. 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 58.3 QBR with a 60% completion rate. Really 61% if you round it up. So I'm I'm with that. I'm with that. That was a really good year for Trevor Lawrence. Hopefully they can build on that. They have a OC over there. What is it? Grant Udinsky, I believe, and a DC. Because nothing changed. Nothing changed within the OC or the DC. Anthony Camperide. I hope I said that right. Camperide. Yes. I'm so sorry if I didn't say that right, but they were doing something right last year. Obviously, won the division. Lost in the wild card, but again, they can build on this with Liam Cohen. To me, they announced this year. Let's talk about a little bit of the off season. I must say, they announced this year that they will be playing at, what is it, Camping World Stadium in Orlando for the 2027 season as they renovate their stadium in Jacksonville. So I like that. I mean, it's right up the road. The move, what is it, $1.4 billion renovation for Everbank. So I like that. If you've ever been to Everbank Stadium, it kind of probably needed it. So yes, I'm with it, and it's scheduled to open just a year later. Just a little bit of revamping. That's it. So they're gonna do everything in a year. That's gonna be dope. The elephant in the room. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about it. As Trick Williams would say. Let's talk about it. The elephant in the room is Travis Hunter. He's coming off an injury. He play, I believe, 4 or 5 games. He's coming off an injury, and they have moved him to cornerback full time. I believe that's the right decision. I said coming out of college, he should be corner full time and go to wide receiver part time. They gave him some good, time at corner last year and also at wide receiver. But I believe that is the right decision for them to, be a better defense, definitely for Travis Hunter, because I thought coming out of college his cornerback skills were way more superior than his wide receiving skills on the strength of his route running. Not because he can't catch; he can catch that ball. The ball finds him as well, but just on the strength of his route running, that's why I thought that. Um, for sure. Let's go into their roster here. Um, they have they re-signed their first pick, former first pick Trayvon Walker. A lot of people did not like that. A lot of people were like, "Why? What's going on here with that?" And I like that. Trayvon Walker has been solid for them. I don't know if he's lived up to that first pick, but I understand in that draft why they went and got him, and he's been solid. He's been solid. I mean, I don't know if I could say like no, he doesn't deserve that money. No, he definitely deserves the money. I'm all for the players getting the money as well. So they definitely did that. Let's go to the departures first, and then we'll go to the free agent signings. Running back Travis Etienne Jr. is gone. Devin Lloyd is gone. Cornerback Greg Newsome is gone. Andrew Wingard's safety is gone, and so is wide receiver Diami Brown. He is gone as well. They didn't really do much in free agent signing this year for the Jags. As we stated, they did re-sign Trayvon Walker. Montrick Brown. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Montrick Brown, cornerback. They re-signed him as well. Dennis Gardick, their linebacker, re-signed him. They have a running back that they signed, Chris Rodriguez Jr. So not really that much going on with free agency this year, but they do have a solid team. I don't really think they needed to remix much. They lost a good running back and a good linebacker, I believe. Greg Newsome, it is what it is. I won't sit here and say he's on the tail end of his career, but he's not, Greg Newsome of old days. So I'm okay with that. This year, they do not have a first round pick due to them trading up to get Travis Hunter last year. So with that being said, uh, they are picking. What is this? What are they picking? They're picking 56. Yes, in the second round, day two, 56. And I believe their roster needs to me is a D tackle, linebacker, running back, and some edge help. Maybe tight end. If the right tight end is there for you to take, I wouldn't be mad at that either. They maybe need some tight end help as well. So I'm with that. So who do I believe they will take in the second round with the 56th pick? Oh Lord, and I've seen this on some mock drafts. I've really seen this too. Lee Hunter. I believe they go D tackle if he's there. Lee Hunter out of Texas Tech would fit well with their system. Um, oh wow, I have a phone call. Oh, I forgot to do that. Rule number one of this is let's turn off our stuff as well. So boom. Sorry about that. Again, we are learning today. This is all a learning day, baby. First day. We are learning today for sure. So yes, with that being said, I think they go Lee Hunter D tackle out of Texas Tech. Hopefully he's there for them to pick because I really do think they need that D tackle to help them on defense. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Houston Texans. Lord Jesus, man, this team right here. Second in the AFC South, 12-5 last year, 7-2 at home, 5-3 away. Head coach D'Amico Ryans, OC Nick Cali, defensive coordinator DC Matt Burke. D'Amico and the GM, they made a lot of assistant coaching changes. Not too much as far as the decent OC, but a lot of a lot of hires. But only two were internal. But it is what it is. I believe that what is it? They got a new QB coach, a new tight end coach, new wide receiver coach. It's just a whole slew of new assistants coming in. And I will say this about the Texas organization: they have the right head coach. But do I think D'Amico does right by his coaches? I'm not sure, man. Every year there's new coaches there. The system's the same. I'm not saying anything about the system, and we'll get into C.J. Stroud here in a bit. But I'm just strictly want to talk about the coaches right now. Uh, yes, I do believe that D'Amico is a hell of a coach, but sometimes I question um, his hirings and firings of coaching. With that being said, he knows what he's doing. He's obviously, they started off what was it, I believe 2 and something last year, and then they ended up 12-5. So he is really good coach. He knows what he's doing. Um, let's see. They picked up the 5th-year option on CJ and Will Anderson, but they also extended Will Anderson and did not extend CJ. So what does that say for CJ Stroud's future in Houston? For me, it's a prove it deal. I mean, they want him to prove it. I agree with the last 2 years. His rookie year, sensational. Second year, sophomore slump. Okay, I get it. Last year, though, in the playoffs, you were the first quarterback to have five touchdowns and 5 interceptions in 2 straight playoff games. Reason you're the only one is because the person who did it or the people who did it before you never got the second game. So with that being said, I don't know if CJ wants that record to be what he's known for, especially in the playoffs. Especially, I think CJ Stroud is a good quarterback. So with that being said, I believe that this is a prove it to us that we should re-sign you for more years or after this 4th year for sure. But again, they did pick up the option. They did pick up his options. So let's see. Let's see. Let's speak a little bit about Will Anderson Jr. since we talked about him. To me, and I'm going to put this out there, I think next year he will be Defensive Player of the Year if the Texans go to the playoffs. I believe it. The reason Myles Garrett won this year, obviously they didn't go to playoffs or anything, but he set a NFL record of sacks, with most sacks in a season. So obviously, setting records, you're going to win awards. So I'm with you on that. But I believe Will Anderson is a beast, and I believe he will be Defensive Player of the Year next year if the Texans are a winning organization, and I believe they will be, honestly. So I like that pick. So that's just an early pick right here on Down South Ball Talk, for sure. Also, while we're in the middle of this, man, please follow all of my socials here. You see them here. We have the YouTube, we have the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok, and also the X. So please follow us. It is Down South Ball Talk on all social media platforms except for X. It is Down South BT. Thank you so much for that as well. So yes, let's continue. Tank Dell is coming back. I believe that'll be good for CJ as well. That adds another weapon because he does have a pure bona fide number one wide receiver in Nico Collins. That's not even a question. So I believe with that happening, Tank Dell coming back, that will give some attention off of Nico because you will have to watch Tank. Hopefully he comes back off of that ACL injury, man, full strength, because that was a nasty injury. But I believe he will come back. If he comes back just even 70% of what he was to give that looks off of Nico, I like that. I like that a lot. Let's go here. Um, let's talk about the roster. Let's talk about the departures first, and then we'll talk about the free agent signings. They have let go of or lost offensive lineman Titus Howard, running back Joe Mixon, who did not play last year, which I thought he would. I even drafted him in fantasy and left him on the bench thinking he would come back and do something. Defensive tackle Tim Settle. Running back Nick Chubb has gone as well. Wide receiver Braxton Berrios, and also linebacker Christian Harris is gone. Um, who do I believe that's the biggest miss? That they're going to miss the most. Obviously, the running backs. They had two quality, decent running backs. I understand that you can, maybe get some more running backs in the draft for sure. But they also added David Montgomery. So I don't know if I look at that as really missing anything once you add David. Offensive lineman Titus Howard, maybe that's a miss because again, the offensive line on the Texans has always been an issue so far. They have everything but the offensive line, and we'll talk about that later when we talk about the draft. Um, Free agent signings, they signed safety Reed Blankenship. That's a good look. I like that a lot. I like David Montgomery coming over. They signed Wyatt Teller, a guard. I like that a lot. Sheldon Rankins re-signed with them. Naquan Jones re-signed as well. Foster Monroe, I like that as well for a tight end signing. So yeah, it should be a pretty good team this year. I believe. If not, they could get 10 wins for sure. Playing their second strength or second place schedule, I believe they can get to 10 wins again. Excuse me, but excuse me again. So I believe that's the final record. We'll get into that later on in when we go live on this channel. So the Texans have the 28th pick in the 2026 draft, which is tonight. Who do I think they select? Well, let's go here. Roster needs to me. Interior offensive lineman, D tackle, cornerback, and tight end. Maybe some depth to help David Montgomery because he's obviously your starter. But maybe in the later rounds you draft a running back just to shore up that room for sure. But in the first round, with the 28th pick, I was flipping back and forth. But if he's there, I don't know if he will be, but maybe if he's there, I'm going to say Caleb Banks out of D tackle out of Florida. I believe that they shore that up because Caleb Banks is a big boy, something that will fit D'Amico's scheme really, really bad, or really, really good. I just don't think maybe they go offensive guard, but I really was going to go the right guard out of Texas A&M. What's his name? Chase Bisontis. I believe that's how you say it. I was so torn between those two. But I believe if Caleb is there, if he's there, you take that talent, man, and you try to get your guard on day two, maybe. Because I believe there's some really good guards in this draft, if you ask me. So Caleb Banks at 28 with the Houston Texans. I believe that is the pick. Let's move on. Excuse me. Let's move on. Our last team of the AFC South that we will be giving insights on this show, the Indianapolis Colts. Lord Jesus, Indianapolis Colts. Third in the AFC South last year, 8-9. Woof, after that hot start, man. 6-3 at home, 2-6 away. Head coach is Stan Sheichen. OC is Jim Bob Cooter. DC is Lou Almiron. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get that right. Again, first day. This is first day. We learn today. They started the season 8-2, man, and everybody thought the Colts might even make it to the Super Bowl. Daniel Jones started off so hot. Of course, they have one of, if not the best running back in the league, and Jonathan Taylor. But they lost 7 straight games and finished 8-9 on the season, which was really rough after Daniel Jones went down. They re-signed Daniel Jones. Anthony Richardson, that's another story. He has requested a trade before coming into voluntary workouts. So that's another thing that I believe that they might do during the draft. Maybe on like day 3 or something to get an extra draft pick or two. Because I believe you could maybe get like a 4th round pick for Anthony Richardson for sure. Yeah, so he definitely wants out there. They went to Phillip Rivers last year. That's how bad it got. Just to be honest, he came out of retirement, and they even went there. Let's see, Jonathan Taylor. What more can you say? I mean, what is this? 15 rushing touchdowns in the first 10 weeks. That's incredible. He tied for the most rushing touchdowns in Colts franchise history last year, tying Edgerrin James. He's a stud. What can you say? I mean, that offensive line they have. One thing about the Colts, they always seem like they have a good offensive line. They just can't never really seem to get it right with wide receivers. But that offensive line is always good. They got, if not the best guard in the league, whether right or left, and Quentin Nelson. So, yeah, man, I will say that for sure. What else do we want to speak on? Oh, they did trade away, Lord Jesus, two, not one, but two first round draft picks for Sauce Gardner. That's how good of a year they started off that hot. And Sauce only played, I believe, 3 games for them, and then he got hurt for the rest of the season, unfortunately. Or 4 games, I'm sorry. Yeah, he played in 4 games. So with that being said, that's kind of ugly. But I do believe in Sauce. Hopefully he travels a little bit more. But if you ask me, he does shut down one side of the field for you. So with that being said, yes, I do like that trade. But giving up 2 first rounders, especially after the season that you had, because I don't think that you knew that your pick would be like this. Oh Lord. So man, I do like Sauce though. Chris Ballard, it is his last season. A lot of Colts fans do not like their GM. I get that. It's been a ride. I do get that. So, but it is his last year. They did not give him an extension or anything like that. So he's honestly on a prove-it year for the Colts as well as a GM. So he has to prove that he can knock it out the park with the draft this year without having the first round picks or without having a first round pick this year or nor next year. Uh, so it's yeah, let's see. We gonna see. So boom, let's go over the roster a little bit with the Colts, man. Shoot, I'm sorry, my eye. Lord Jesus, something in my eye. Um, they have a lot of re-signings. Oh Lord, they signed Alec Pierce to a extension, 4 years, 116 million. A lot of people don't know if that's worth that number one money for Alec Pierce, but we shall see. They re-signed Daniel Jones to a 2 year, $100 million contract. Arden Key comes over from the Titans on a 2 year deal. They signed defensive end Michael Clemens, safety Jonathan Owens, D tackle Derek Namdi, safety Juwanie Thomas, 2 tight ends. They also signed Nick Westbrook Akine. He was on the Titans, comes from the Dolphins. So yes, they re-signed their kicker. They have a slew of re-signings. Their departures. Lord Jesus. Let's see their departures. Let's see who they lost this year. Notable departures. Not really too big on it. I mean, their DN that they lost, Pay, he was a good. Mabuke, another DN, was good. They they traded Michael Pittman Jr. I believe they'll miss him for sure. Zaire Franklin was traded as well to the Green Bay Packers. They'll definitely miss him. He's a tackling machine. I just believe they did not want to pay him. But with that being said, do I think that the Colts go 8-9 this year? Man, I don't know. I don't. We shall see. We have to see what they do in the draft and everything they do continuing after that. Key needs to me top 4 positions. I will go edge, linebacker, wide receiver, D tackle, or anything on the D line for sure. Maybe safety, but they did sign one, so we shall see how that goes. My pick in the second round, because they have the number 47th pick in the second round, I believe they go edge. I believe they go R. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma. I believe he fits what they're trying to do. Really, really, really good edge out of Oklahoma. I believe he has first round talent, but it's just something about that twitch. I don't know. He doesn't get off the ball a little bit. I don't know. It just. I believe he's more of a disruptor. There we go. Than a sack getter. More of a disruptor. Which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a disruptor. But yes, I think they go R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma once it's all said and done. So boom. That concludes my NFL AFC talk, AFC South talk for today. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. The playoffs are going on right now. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it because here we will discuss the NBA Southwest Division, which that consists of the Memphis Grizzlies, the Houston Rockets, the Dallas Mavericks, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the San Antonio Spurs. Right now, the only 2 teams that are in the playoffs there's only 2 teams, I must say, that are in the playoffs right now representing the Southwest Division, and that is the San Antonio Spurs and the Houston Rockets. San Antonio Spurs lost their last game. They're tied up right now 1-1, heading to Portland. Portland poured out a stunner. Man, I believe it was 106 to 104, 107 to 104. The last game, and they pulled it out. Wimby left the game with a concussion. His head hit the floor, was really nasty. He did not return after, I believe, the second quarter. So that game was a doozy for sure. The Houston Rockets, I don't know what's going on, man. They're down 0-2 to the Los Angeles Lakers. They have not played at home. They will be going back to Houston, but the Lakers do not have Austin Reeves, nor do they have Luka Doncic, and you're still, yeah, down 2-0. But KD did not play in game one. But game two, I will say, was atrocious for him. He only scored 3 points in the second half, while in the first half he had 21 points, I believe, in the first half, but he only took 4 shots in the second half. 0 shots in the third quarter. That is unacceptable. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. It ain't like the Lakers have like a defensive stopper on them. They had Marcus Smart on him and LeBron James. Not sitting there saying they do not know how to defend, because they both do. But let's be real. KD not getting any shots up in the third quarter is just not going to cut it for the Rockets. So with that being said, they lost that game. They're heading back to Houston, down 2-0. I believe that they will get the next game in Houston for sure, because if they go down 3-0, they know the series is most likely over. So yes, on the next episode, we will talk a little bit more about free agency and off-season things going on with the Southwest Division, but more talk about the AFC South and what happened in the draft. We will be doing it live on YouTube. This is a recording because I did not know I needed to have 24 hours to go live on YouTube. That is my fault. Again, we are learning on this channel. This is the first episode of this. We will be doing lives. We will be doing recordings. I also will have guests on this show. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to have that. Man, thank y'all so much for supporting. Whether you're a new subscriber, whether you're an old subscriber that's going back and watching the very first episode of this, because we are going to grow from this, I promise. Yes, yes, yes. So with that being said, man, let's talk a little bit. Like I stated, we'll talk a little wrestling as well here. WrestleMania was this past weekend. I won't touch too much on it. Night one to me got a good C plus. The matches were okay. I believe the women should have wrestled a little bit longer instead of just 7 minutes, but I get the pageantry of it all. You have to have the intros and things of that nature. I like that Bianca Belair came out and she did her thing as well. And she, is pregnant. Shout out to her and Montez. I hope they have a beautiful child and it comes out healthy for sure. So night one was really okay. Yeah. So night two was way better. I like those matches a lot better. I mean, they kicked it off with Oba and Brock Lesnar, retiring. That was crazy. I did not expect that. The Jacob Fatu match, obviously, chef's kiss. I love Jacob Fatu. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. So, yes, that was a good night. Night two was probably better than night one. I will give it a B minus. So, yes, that's just my want to touch on WrestleMania. We will touch only on like bigger events and or if somebody wants to come on and we talk wrestling with them. But this won't be like a wrestling show. I just like, talking a little bit. Shout out to AEW as well. I watched that religiously. Shout out to the person who got me into it, Carly Bravo, man. Shout out, brother. I see you, man. Keep doing your thing out there. So yes, this concludes the first episode of Down South Ball Talk. Again, I just wanted to come on here and do this recording for our first episode because I was going to go live. I want to do an episode before the draft. So yes, next time you see me or next time you see a live or a recording on here, it will be, excuse me, post-draft, and we will talk about who everyone took for sure. So with that being said, please follow all of our socials here. You see them down here. Please give me a like on this video. Please comment. Please subscribe. I really would appreciate it. So yes, signing out. This is LT for Down South Ball Talk.